In remote parts of the American Southwest, stories circulate about a shape-shifting figure rooted in Navajo folklore. Often associated with dark magic and malevolent intent, the Skinwalker remains a symbol of fear and mystery. But what exactly are they, and why have so many people seen them? You might have heard of skinwalkers through internet stories, video games, or maybe even from friends talking about creepy encounters, but the actual origin of the Skinwalker legend goes far deeper than that. This is an evil being, which is rooted in the traditions of the Navajo Nation, and for many who grow up with these stories, it's not just myth, it's a very real and very serious part of their culture. In Navajo belief, skinwalkers are known as Yinalblushii, which roughly translates to, with it, he goes on all fours. These are said to be witches or medicine people who have turned to dark practices, people who once may have had healing knowledge, but who chose to corrupt it for power, revenge, or control. According to legend, a skinwalker can transform into an animal, often a coyote, wolf, or deer, by wearing its skin. But it's not just the shape-shifting that makes them terrifying. What really unsettles people is their ability to mimic human voices, enter homes undetected, and manipulate minds through fear and illusion. It's also important to understand that even speaking openly about skinwalkers is considered dangerous in many communities. Some Navajo people believe that talking about them too much, especially by name, can attract their attention or even invite them into your life. Because of that, these stories are often kept within families or passed down only in trusted circles, and usually with warnings about how powerful and evil these beings are believed to be. The Navajo aren't the only ones with stories like this either. Similar shapeshifter legends exist in other indigenous cultures across North America, although the details and names vary. But the Skinwalker in particular stands out for how deeply it's tied to taboo and fear, as well as a very real sense of spiritual danger. This isn't the kind of story you tell for fun around a campfire, at least not where it comes from. According to Navajo belief, skinwalkers are not monsters by birth, they're people who have deliberately chosen to use dark magic, often committing terrible crimes to gain supernatural power. Once transformed, they're said to take the form of animals such as coyotes, wolves, foxes, owls, or bears, creatures already loaded with spiritual meaning, now twisted into something threatening. These animals never appear quite right. People describe them as unusually large or fast, with glowing eyes or movements that seem unnatural. Sometimes they move on two legs, or behave in ways no wild animal should. This uncanny wrongness is often what triggers deep fear in those who encounter them. In human form, skinwalkers are often seen as thin and weathered figures with a sickly appearance. Some stories say they wear the skins of the animals they turn into, though modern versions often treat this detail as symbolic. What truly makes them terrifying is their ability to shift their form at will, sometimes appearing as a trusted friend or animal, only to vanish or reveal their true nature. Their abilities don't stop at shape-shifting. Skinwalkers are said to run faster than vehicles, leap across canyons, and mimic human voices to lure victims. Some tales even claim they can control minds, or cause sickness. These aren't just ghost stories, they're cautionary tales rooted in a belief system where spiritual imbalance has real consequences. Ultimately, the skinwalker represents more than just a predator. It's a symbol of betrayal, corruption, and power used for harm. And whether or not you believe in them, the fear they inspire is very real to those who grew up with these stories. Chillingly, there have also been many eyewitness accounts of these creatures. At Skinwalker Ranch in Utah, one of the most well-known hotspots for paranormal activity, a family in the 1990s had a now infamous encounter. On their first day at the ranch, they saw a giant wolf approach their livestock. This thing was massive, also very calm and eerily unbothered by humans. When it clamped its jaws around a calf's leg, the father shot it multiple times with a handgun, then a rifle. The creature didn't flinch, but let go of the calf and wandered off. They followed its tracks for a long way, but they suddenly stopped, as if it disappeared. Another widely shared experience came from a man driving alone through a desert highway in northern Arizona. It was nearly midnight, and in the corner of his eye, he saw something keeping pace with his truck. When he glanced over, he saw a tall, hunched figure with the face of a coyote and long, gangly limbs. Its eyes glowed faintly red, and its movements looked off, like it was mimicking how a human should run. He hit the gas and didn't slow down for miles. When he checked his truck at the next gas station, he found long claw marks scraped across the passenger side. A Navajo woman recalled a terrifying night when her dogs wouldn't stop barking at the tree line near her family's home. The next morning, they found enormous tracks circling the house, three-toed prints, far too large for any known animal. Her grandfather, who was usually stoic, looked pale. Without a word, he started burning cedar and covering the door frames with ash. When she asked why, he just said not to talk about it. Another story came from a group of teens camping near Shiprock in New Mexico. Late at night, they heard what sounded like a woman crying in the trees. When they shined a flashlight, they saw something crawling on all fours, but backwards. It darted into the brush faster than any human should move. The crying stopped, and for hours they felt watched. One of them said they felt sick for days afterward, like something had latched onto them. All these stories, from different people in different states, share the same eerie details. The creature is unnaturally fast. It mimics voices or animals, but never quite gets it right. It moves too jerky, like it's wearing a body that doesn't quite fit, and it's terrifying to anybody who witnesses it. In the past several years, stories about skinwalkers have taken on a whole new life online. People from all over share unsettling experiences involving strange sounds in the woods, odd behavior from animals, or encounters with something that seems human at first, but isn't. These stories often feel deeply personal, told in a way that makes you wonder if there might be some truth to them, even if they sound far-fetched. Some people write detailed accounts, while others create short and eerie videos, or even full-blown horror stories that borrow elements from real-life reports. As these stories spread, they've shaped how the skinwalker is understood by the wider world. The version most people know today is a blend of traditional beliefs and current fears, influenced by isolation, wild spaces, and the fear of something that looks like us but isn't quite right. The legend has moved far beyond its origins and become something new, something shaped by imagination, and the way stories evolve when they pass from person to person. At this point, the skinwalker isn't just part of folklore, it's become a kind of modern myth, passed through videos and stories, growing with every retelling. What started as a deeply rooted belief in a specific culture has transformed into something much broader, fueled by digital storytelling and the universal fear of the unknown. Some of the sightings could be explained by natural causes, things like coyotes acting weird, owls screeching in the dark, or even the effects of isolation messing with your perception. If you're in a remote area, running on no sleep, your brain is already primed to expect danger. One strange sound, or one shadow moving just wrong, and suddenly you're convinced something unnatural is out there. And fear has a way of making those details stick in your memory, even if they didn't happen quite the way you remember. But here's the thing, these stories don't spread and stick around for no reason. Even if you strip away the supernatural, there's something primal about them. They touch on this deep and instinctive fear of being watched, of being hunted, of something pretending to be human but not quite pulling it off. The way skinwalkers are said to mimic voices, especially those of people you know, is especially disturbing, because it plays on the fear that the familiar can't be trusted. So whether these stories are real in a literal sense or not, almost misses the point. What matters is that they feel real to the people who've experienced them, and they carry a kind of truth that goes beyond just what's physically possible. They remind us that sometimes the scariest things aren't what's out there in the dark, but what our minds are capable of creating when we start to believe there's no such thing as safe. What do you think about skinwalkers? Have you ever encountered one? If so, let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, turning on all notifications.